I want you to guess how long I painted this piece. An hour? Close. 7 hours? Close. What about 54 hours? You're almost there. I drew this in 45 minutes. But for real though, when I saw the recording, I immediately shot my pants, bro. Like, I thought I was tripping. I even had to check twice just to make sure I wasn't on some condition or something. I looked at both of my hands. Nah, bro. I did not just... I just made that. Yeah, I made that. I have got to show my viewers this, man. I need to show them how art is supposed to be taught, not just some paint like this, draw this, do your guidelines like this, do this to become the greatest overnight, be better than Cooley and everybody else. Man, shut the hell up. I swear, art tutorials nowadays are just crazy. They'd be just coming up with all sorts of rules, and you're supposed to follow that. And let me tell you something. Those people who create goofy-ass art tutorials, I bet you can't even draw a hand properly for the most part. So why the hell follow them? Unless the tutorials from me, oh yes, I promise you, you'll be a professional in just 90 days. You'll be better than everyone else in your class. All the girls are gonna be knocking at your door. Oh my god, did you draw this? Oh hell yes, I did. Here's my course. I'm just playing. I'm not doing all that. I probably will in the future. Anyways, enough of my pointless blabbering, let's get on with the video. I'm in the blocking out stage. The sketching stage, if you'd like to call it that. I don't spend too much time on my sketches. I try my best to do it as quickly as possible, while still making it aesthetically pleasing. This is one tip I'd like to share. Don't obsess over your sketches. If your main goal is the full render, treat the sketch as your foundation. The skeleton. You can see that I've sketched the hair. I use big strands to emphasize the feeling and flow of it. But some people get carried away with hair and start rendering each individual strand. You shouldn't do that. Instead, use big shapes to emphasize it, as I do here. In art, it's always a must to simplify a lot of things. Notice how artists tell you to use big shapes for the face, the body, and everything else. Like with hair, you can use shapes to your advantage. With them, you can sketch anything however you like. Over time, once you're comfortable, you'll find yourself sketching without needing those shapes. Don't be afraid to experiment with what you just learned and what you know. Experience is essential for building and understanding why things are the way they are. Art isn't really as complicated as some make it out to be. It's the people in the community that make it seem it that way. If you step back and just look at the bigger picture, simplify the shapes in your head, break it down, it's not all that difficult. It just requires a bit of patience and learning new theories. You'll eventually get to where you want to go. You finally reached the painting stage. Congratulations. I'm doing the usual. I paint the base colors for the background and the character silhouette. I'm working on grayscale right now. I've created a video demonstrating on how to paint faces, but I didn't get into detail, so I'm sorry. I usually start off with a midtone. The middle tone serves as the usual base color. Then on top of that, I add a darker color shade. Since it's grayscale, it's just another darker gray color. This is a technique I tend to use a lot instead of the light tone and then darker shade technique, since it's much more easier to tackle how the lighting would be this way. Another thing, if you're still struggling with painting, I recommend going grayscale for the time being. It really helps improve your perception of values and sharpens your understanding of color theory. That's why you often see people doing grayscale as a way to study. Personally, I find it fun. I gently blend some parts of the hard edges to emphasize the light hitting the face. I just love doing this. And you can see it in a lot of art styles. It makes the drawing pop even more, with just using the right techniques to blend hard shading and soft shading. Here's another thing. Too much of either can make the painting a little off and dirty. So it's best to find a balance in your paintings. You can see that I've added another dark shade. This is the part that gives the painting another level of depth. People tend to be afraid of adding darker shadows, which they shouldn't be. Don't be afraid to try it out. It's best to experiment and see where it takes you. I've experienced this before. I was too afraid to add hard shadows in my paintings. Then I was tired. I was tired of being scared. You know what I did? I flipped my desk upside down. Then I watched this video. Don't be afraid to add hard shadows in your paintings. I took that advice to heart. I put my table back together, grabbed my pen out of my ass, and then, ever since, my drawings weren't the same. You'll never notice your improvement in real time. You'll only ever find out when you compare it to your previous drawings. And if you do compare it to your old drawings, you have to make sure you're actually consistent. We all improve at our own paces, and that's something to take note in art. All of us, we express our art differently. Even if we try to copy other styles, we'll always have our own interpretation of it. We're all unique. We all have our own art styles. And it's honestly a cool idea to think about. We need more artists in this world. To be honest, in this bland world, creativity is lacking. A lot. With AI taking over, people get discouraged from picking up a pencil and learning a new skill. But you shouldn't let that stop you, because no matter how greater AI gets, the creativity of a human, of you, is immeasurable. It simply cannot compete. AI cannot create something out of thin air. It needs us. It's dependent of us to create something. No matter if it's art or text or simply anything. Once you've picked up the pencil, you just started something, a new journey. I really advise my newer artists to just take it slow. Art is about patience and learning. Anyways, I'm getting carried away from the actual drawing itself. As you can see here, I used a balance of hard shadows and blending it. I just love doing this, man. My goodness. For the hair, I painted with thick strands and thick shadows. Then I slowly worked my way towards adding smaller and smaller details. You can't just render the hair with small strands immediately. Take it slow. Start big, then make progress little by little. Painting the hair is pretty easy. It's usually just a dark soft shade on the roots and ends of the hair. And in the middle is just a light shade. This applies to every hair. Blonde, brunette. For lighter hair colors though, the dark shade can still be the same, but it's the middle color that's usually lighter. Then as you can see here, I randomize it with adding medium thick strands to further emphasize the luscious hair. You can see it slowly taking shape. Once I see that I can officially tackle the hair, that's when I add the smaller and smaller strands. But this is a quick sketch I did, so I just kept it casual. I didn't really get into detail that much. We're on to the final part, and it's the shirt. You can see that I've applied a similar technique like how I painted the face earlier. Hard and soft shading. I'm using a balance between both of them. I color in the shadows darker and blend in some specific parts on where the lights would hit. And I just add a few tweaks, and there you have it. I'll be covering a more in-depth painting in the future. If you guys want that, let me know in the comments below. And take care.